anything bothers me and I'm feeling unhappy, I just try and think of nice things.
What kind of things?
Oh, well, let me see. Nice things. Daffodils. Green meadows. Skies full of stars.
Sun roses and whiskers on kittens, bright chocolate petals and warm rolling mittens, brown paper package inside of whiskers. These are a few of my favorite things.
Welcome to another episode of Erik Wait Whiskey Studies, and this is my top 10 for 2019. For 2018, I had one criteria. It had to have the wow factor. For 2019, there are two criteria. It has to have the wow factor, and it has to be a bottle that I actually own and have reviewed. I've got some bottles that I've tasted but not yet reviewed that could make it into the top 10 for 2019, but because I haven't reviewed them yet, they're going to have to wait to 2020 to see if they can make it into my top 10. Now, 2019 has been an absolutely fantastic year. I went to Scotland and had a couple trips down to Texas, visited like 12, 13 distilleries down there. So, been an absolutely spectacular year, and not only in terms of places I've visited, whiskeys I've had, but all the meetups I've had with fellow whiskey tubers. Alrighty, so coming in at number 10 is the Glen, Livet, Dura Peated Cask finished whiskey. This is bottled at 61.5% alcohol by volume. Sells for about $75 here in the United States. I first tasted it at a bar in Scotland. Even though I did a tour of the distillery and liked the whiskeys I had there, this is one that I actually like the most. And because it's widely available here in the United States, I bought it here rather than back there. So, the quality price ratio is through the roof. Try finding cask strength whiskeys for only $75, and the layer and layers of complexity of this whiskey is just absolutely through the roof. So this is actually, even though it's number 10 out of my top 10, it's one of the most readily available, and consequently one that I'm going to be continuing to recommend to others, probably more than any other on my list, if nothing else, just for its availability. Coming in at number 9 is the Ardbeg Supernova 2019. Bottled at 53.8% alcohol by volume, this is a punch in the face of peat. If you're a peat fan, if you're a peat lover, and you can get one of these, I highly recommend it. Go for anywhere between $160 to $300. So the prices are a bit up. Now that they've been out for a while, the prices are coming down. I gave this 92 points. What kept it from going higher in points and higher up on my list is the texture and the mouthfeel. It is a little bit rough in the throat. It's like somebody just punched you, in the back of the throat. So you got to be ready for it. But however, and thanks to Jason at the Mash and Drum, put a little bit of Corv-Reckon in this one, and it is absolutely phenomenal. In fact, I would recommend a 50-50. So if you got a Corv-Reckon, you can combine it with this one, you're absolutely set for an absolutely peat lover's delight. Coming in at number 8 is the Glen Morey 2010 Peated PX Finish Cask Whiskey. Absolutely superb. This is one of the most dense, concentrated, flavorsome whiskeys in the entire lineup that I've got here for 2019. Does really, really well on ice, does really, really well on water. This is not a summer dram by any stretch of the imagination. It is huge, it is intense, and it is slightly sweet. I gave this one 92 points. So my number 10, and my number 9, and number 8 are all at 92 points. However, this is a distillery exclusive, which makes it a little challenging to get your hands on. However, I have seen this on the secondary market as well. Alrighty, coming in at number 8 is the Glen Morey Peated PX Distillery Cask Finish Whiskey. Coming in at number 7 is the Ardbeg 19 Trey Von, bottled at 46.2% alcohol by volume. I gave it 93 points. Now, those of you who know that I'm a real big Ardbeg fan might wonder why this isn't higher up. It's not that it doesn't deserve to be higher up, it's just the competition this year is so tight. Now, I thought this would be close to number 1 or number 2 when I had it. However, going over my notes and looking at my previous videos and reviews, I had to come back to say, yeah, 93 points. I've actually got some that are actually better than this in 2019. In terms of qualities of whiskeys that I've had in 2019, it was a much better year. Well, a better year than I had in 2018. And 2018 was awesome. So another issue about this is it's unbelievably expensive at $300. I've got some bottles on my top 10 list that I like as much as this one for far less. Coming in at number 6 is the Glen Grant Cask Strength Distillery Exclusive. This is bottled at 57.2% alcohol by volume. It's a limited edition, only available at the distillery. This is finished in a port cask. Absolutely phenomenal whiskey, and even a more phenomenal distillery. Really, really beautiful distillery. If you're ever in the Speyside, you've got to visit Glen Grant Distillery. This one is not only in terms of its layers of flavor, not only in terms of its development, and its character and its structure, everything else, it has a big punch of flavor and yet doesn't lose its grace and elegance. This one, when I first tasted it, I thought this could be it. Potentially, this could be it to come in as my number one, but 93 points. Unfortunately, it's only available at the distillery. Coming in at number 5 is Glen Scotia Warehouseman's Edition, bottled at 56.2% alcohol by volume. This is another distillery exclusive. An absolutely spectacular whiskey. Now, before going to the distillery, I really didn't have a whole lot of experience with Glen Scotia, but they have definitely come on the radar for me in competition with Springbank, another phenomenal distillery. Unfortunately, again, this is only available at the distillery. However, yes, like a lot of others at extreme markup, you can find these on the secondary market. At 93 points, this actually ties with the Glen Grant Limited Edition and the Trayvon. Coming in at number 4 is from Texas. This is the Balcones Single Malt Rum Cask Finish, bottled at 63.5% alcohol by volume. I actually picked this up at the distillery. However, it does have some distribution, and Balcones has a whole bunch of other bottles that would be on par with this, that I would love to throw in here as well, that I've tasted. They're absolutely superb, that I've got in my collection, but I haven't reviewed them yet. This could end up being my top 10 list, being all Balcones bottles, to tell you the truth. I absolutely love Balcones. If you haven't had a Balcones, keep your eyes out. You're definitely going to want to jump on them. So coming in at number 4 at 94 points is the Balcones Single Malt Rum Cask Finish. Coming in at number 3 is the Iron Root Republic Harbinger Bourbon Cask BBC Cask Strength, straight from the distillery. I gave this 95 points. Now, I've got another bottle from them that I haven't reviewed yet. It's the Magic Amana corn that I also picked up from the distillery. This is absolutely spectacular, and it's my only bourbon on my list for 2019. Absolutely superb. Now, can you get this one at your local store? No. Can you get this at the distillery? Even if you can't get this particular one from this particular cask and so forth, you can get a lot of other phenomenal bourbons from the distillery, or even now in distribution. They're going to be really, really good. In fact, I've actually tasted a couple others, most recently down at the Bachelor's Ball in Texas, that, like the Ecor or Ichor, or however they pronounce that are just also mind-blowing. Coming in at number 2 is the Springbank Aged 8 Years Fresh Sherry Cask. It was distilled in March 2011, released the 23rd of May 2019, only 1,100 bottles. This is bottled at 56.8% alcohol by volume. I picked this up at the distillery. This is a very intensely sherried whiskey, and it was really, really, really close. When I tasted this, I was certain that this would be my whiskey of the year, but I've got one more. I've got one more that even beats this one, but this one's absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, you can get these on the secondary market, but they're going close to like $300 on the secondary. I didn't pay half that much, but this is absolutely superb. Coming in at number 1 is a very special bottle that I brought back from Glendronach Distillery, one that I filled myself. This is the Glendronach I mean, it's sherried upon sherried cask. It is a very intensely sherried cask whiskey. This is from cask number 5086, bottle 172. It was distilled in 1994, bottled on July 16th, 2019. It is bottled at 54.7% alcohol by volume. I gave this 100 points. Unfortunately, I don't remember how much I paid for it. If I recall correctly, it was around 265 pounds. Again, don't quote me on that. It was in that neighborhood. They do not advertise this one on the website. The only way you can get one is going to the distillery. It's another reason why to go to Scotland. I have tasted other whiskeys that sold for 4, 5, and more times this amount that weren't nearly as good. But this is one that I'm not going to hoard. This is one that I'm going to want to share with friends in the future, because that's really what it's all about. As great as the exploration and traveling around Scotland was, as great as traveling around and visiting distilleries was in Texas, what I have enjoyed most this past year in 2019 was meeting up with fellow whiskey tubers. It's just been absolutely spectacular, particularly at the Bachelor's Ball, but also I met some in Scotland as well. It sounds cliche that it's not about the whiskey, it's about the people you drink it with, and we say this a lot, but that's the truth. That's true. The whiskey is just a catalyst for us to interact and share our lives and have a really good time together. And so my hope is that I will be able to meet up with you, my viewers and fellow whiskey tubers, and share this bottle with you. Alrighty, if you subscribe to this channel, I want to thank you very much. If you haven't yet subscribed, but you enjoy watching my videos, please subscribe, give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends on Facebook, Twitter, and other social networking channels, and until next time, cheers. Hey, if you like my review, be sure to check out these other whiskey videos.